So welcome back to the second lecture of physical chemistry, that is the thermodynamics. Okay, chemical thermodynamics. So in previous lecture we have seen the introduction of this chemical thermodynamics and what do you mean by system, what do you mean by surrounding, various types of systems. Okay, now we will see the actual part of the thermodynamics, that is Helmholtz free energy and Gibbs free energy. Okay, so what is the difference between these two energies and what are the expression for these two energies, that we will see in this lecture. Okay, so these are the two important state functions which will related to with the work as well as the nature of process. Okay, so these two energies, that is Helmholtz free energy and Gibbs free energy, that Helmholtz free energy is represented by A and Gibbs free energy which is related by or represented by using symbol G. So these two energies are gives you the information about the various types of energies in the given system. Okay, so there are the various types of energy like PV type of energy, then work done type of energy, heat energy or the internal energy, then uh, okay entropy. Likewise various forms of energies are there for the given system. So these two energies gives you the expression, or these two energies gives you the idea about what type of energies are involved in the work done, or what type of energies are involved in the pressure volume change in the given system. Okay, so basically these two energies having the relation. Likewise, like this Helmholtz free energy A is given by this expression, that is A is equals to E minus Ts, where E is what? E is the internal energy which is again a state function, then T is what? The temperature, S is the entropy. Similarly this Gibbs free energy which is given by expression what? G is equals to H minus Ts, where H is what? Enthalpy of a system, T is again temperature and S is again entropy. So all of these functions, that is internal energy E, enthalpy S, entropy, temperature, okay, all these are the what? Extensive properties of a system. So what do you mean by these extensive properties? So extensive properties of a system are those properties which are what? Depending upon the amount of substance in the given system. Okay, so all of these properties are depending upon the amount of substance that is present in the given system. So if all these properties are extensive properties, so combination of these properties also what? Is also be a extensive properties. So this Helmholtz free energy A and G are also being the extensive properties. That means what? That means they depend upon the quantity of matter present in the given system under study. Okay, so you might be asked about like what are the extensive properties of a given system, and you might be given the various properties. So the properties like E, that is enthalpy, then internal energy E, then entropy S, and temperature T, as well as Helmholtz free energy A and Gibbs free energy G. All of these energies are what? These are the extensive properties. Okay, so that is the two expression for the Gibbs free energy and Helmholtz free energy. So we cannot have the like exact knowledge of this Helmholtz free energy as well as Gibbs free energy, means we cannot determine the Helmholtz free energy at particular state. Okay, so we have to consider the difference in the difference in the that Helmholtz free energy and Gibbs free energy. Okay, so Helmholtz free energy E is the state function which was related with the work done. For example, if we consider the initial and final Helmholtz free energy, then we can be able to find the difference in the uh, two states, that is initial state and final state. So we can obtain that by using this expression, that is delta A is equals to what? A2 minus A1, which is E2, that is internal energy at state 2, minus temperature at state 2 and entropy at state 2, minus internal energy at state 1 minus temperature and entropy at state 1. Okay, So likewise we need to derive the expression for the difference in Helmholtz free energy. So expression will be what? Delta A is equals to delta E minus T delta S. So we have just taken the difference for the two state differing in their internal energy, temperature and entropy of a system. So this is the expression for Helmholtz free energy. So for a reversible process at temperature T, the heat energy and the entropy are related by this second law of thermodynamics, that is delta S is equals to what? Q reversible upon T. So this is the expression for second law of thermodynamics. So we know that this delta S is equals to what? Q reversible upon T, or T delta S value will be what? Q reversible. So this is the expression for Q reversible. So we have just simply substituted that equation in the our equation, that is Q reversible for the T delta S. But by the laws of thermodynamics, that is first law of thermodynamics, the total energy, that is internal energy plus heat energy, they are responsible for the work done. And if you consider the maximum work done for the given system, which is given by this expression, that is internal energy minus reversible heat change. Okay, so if you consider the total energy of a system, then we have to consider the heat energy as well as internal energy. And if we consider the another form of first law of thermodynamics, so if we take the difference of internal energy and the reversible heat energy, then that will be the maximum work done that can be done in the given system. Okay, so just simply substitute this value in the this expression of a Helmholtz free energy. So we get that minus delta A is equals to minus W max. Okay, so this indicates that the work done by the system which is given by Helmholtz free energy. So the maximum work done is nothing but the Helmholtz free energy. So we can say that A is also called as what? Maximum work function. Okay, so Helmholtz free energy is maximum work function. So as the system will does the work, so delta is also become negative, so Helmholtz free energy of the system gets decreased. Okay, so that is the expression for Helmholtz free energy. Next is Gibbs free energy. Okay, so now we know that this Helmholtz free energy is nothing but the maximum work done or the maximum work function for the given system. Okay, now we will consider this Gibbs free energy. So Gibbs free energy is important because it is related with the net work done by the system. Okay, so it is consisting of both work done, that is maximum work done, as well as the PV type of work. Okay, so we will get to the know by using the expression. So consider again difference for the two states, initial state and final state. So if we solve that expression, we will get the delta G as delta H minus T delta S, where delta H is what? Change in the enthalpy and temperature T, and delta S is what? Delta S is the change in entropy. Okay, so at constant pressure, this enthalpy is what? Enthalpy can be expressed as, it is the addition of internal energy and PV type of work, that is P into delta V. So putting this in the equation number 1.6, we get what? That delta G is equals to delta E plus P delta V minus T delta S. But this delta E minus T delta S, we know that it is the expression for the Helmholtz free energy. So we have just simply substituted that delta G is equals to delta A plus P delta V. But we know that this delta A is what? Delta A is the maximum work done and P delta V is the PV type of work. So this is the relation between Gibbs free energy and the Helmholtz free energy. So if we rearrange that equation, we finally get the equation likewise. So this indicates that the decrease in free energy, that is minus delta G, which is given by the net work done by the system at constant temperature and pressure. So minus W max, which is the work done by the given system, and P delta V is what? It is the expansion type of work. Okay, so we can say that this minus delta G is the net work done by the given system. It is the net work done. Okay, it is the net work done by the given system. Now next is the we need to see the relation or the variation in the free energy with the temperature and pressure. Okay, so we can see that in the next lecture.